Hello?
Hey, it's Steve. How's it going?
Steve! Good to hear from you, man. Yeah, we need to do a review together, right?
Heck to the yezzle! Sorry. I'll stop. So, what can we review?
I don't know. I'm on vacation, actually, so there's not much I can really review unless maybe you want to review a giant sorcerer's hats with yellow stars. I've got one of those near me. My guess is it probably wouldn't do very well in the comfort department.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean.
So what's something that both of us have, something both of us could do?
Well, what about something with phones?
That's true. Everybody's got a smartphone.
Yeah, and we can do something with an app.
We could review like an app that maybe helps you find stuff. You're in a big city, I'm on vacation. That might work.
Cool, yeah. I'll see what iPhone has in their app store.
You've got an iPhone. That's perfect. I've got an Android. That'll be great. You can walk around New York City and I'll walk around Disney.
How about this one? It's called Layar. It's an augmented reality program.
Augmented reality.
Yeah, augmented reality is just where you're looking through the real world, except there's like information overlaid on top of it, sort of like RoboCop or Minority Report or something like that. I think it'll be cool. We should check it out.
Sounds like a plan, man. Let's do this. We'll record our experiences in our locations and then we'll compare notes, see what we think of this Layar app.
Okay, sounds good, Aaron. Let's make it happen, Captain. Jean-Luc Picard. Okay, yeah, that wasn't that funny. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, bye.
Welcome to the Absolute Truth with Aaron and Steve. Steve's got an iPhone, I've got an Android. We like to take a look at different apps that work on both and see how they stack up. Today's app is an app called Layar, augmented reality. What were you expecting from this, Steve?
When I first heard about Layar and augmented reality, I was like, whoa, I'm going to be hooked into the Matrix. I'm going to get to be freaking Keanu Reeves. Well, either Keanu Reeves' life is abundantly boring, or this app's awesome sauce wasn't quite as awesome as advertised.
Sounds like you had a pretty similar experience to me. I started with frustration and confusion with Layar and then ended in the exact same place. I opened this up and right off the bat, you don't even know where to go or what to do. It's talking about print ads and it's really kind of confusing. Eventually I found the button to push that would get to the augmented reality stuff, but I was having a hard time finding my way around.
Yeah, some of the buttons were pretty unintuitive. Like pressing the X button to try out a new layer, I automatically assumed X meant closing the app.
Exactly. And then even once you get into it and you kind of figure out how it's supposed to work, like that there are these third-party layers that kind of work in conjunction with the app itself and you have to find them and load them in to use them, it's still really confusing as to which ones to use and how to use them. What did you do?
I didn't even know where to start, to be honest. I tried to stick to the featured layers, but even then the choices were pretty overwhelming.
I had the same experience. In fact, it's kind of a weird thing where it's both overwhelming and also nothing you can use. I'm in the middle of downtown Disney using this thing. There's nothing for Disney even to use. No Disney layer.
Wow.
I eventually did find a layer that kind of worked. It was a restaurants layer, I think called Hotspot. Here I'm expecting, with augmented reality, you point your camera and you get all these cool little facts like, this pavilion was built by Walt Disney in 1908 to symbolize the eternal spirit of hope and truth amongst us all, or something like that. Maybe a cool British robot voice could do it, I don't know. Point being, that didn't happen. You know what I got? I got forks. Plates with forks and knives on my screen trying to tell me where restaurants are, except for one thing. They totally blocked my screen.
Layar is freaking dangerous. It encourages you to look at your screen full of random text boxes and forks, which block your view while walking instead of looking where you're actually going.
Not to mention you feel like an idiot holding your phone up while you're walking and bumping into people for sure. Well, did you find it? You're in New York City, so did you find any of these layers that you were able to use for any cool things around you?
There are literally hundreds of layers I could have used, so I decided to stick with some of the more popular ones like Yelp, Wikipedia, the New York City sightseeing app, and Twitter. Something that blew my mind was that when I used Yelp, it either crashed or said it had no results. No results in New York effing City? That makes as much sense as a horse riding a unicorn.
Nice. I know the other layers worked for you though, right?
They worked okay, I guess, but honestly, for the wiki layer, I would have rather just searched on the wiki site instead. Same for the New York City sites layer. It was like Google Maps if Google Maps took longer, because first you had to point your camera in the right direction so the radar lined up with your location. Then you had to look around, click on a little text box. Then you had to actually touch it and then open up the document before you could even see the directions.
Wow, that sounds like an absolute pain.
I would have rather just used Google Maps.
Yeah, I remember getting that same feeling over and over again. Like I could do this easier with an already existing app on my phone, or for that matter, just with my phone itself.
Touché.
Was there anything about any of these layers that you found interesting or fun?
What kept me mildly amused was the Twitter layer. You can see all the random tweets people are saying in your neighborhood, but even that gimmick got old pretty quick.
So it's confusing and frustrating to figure it out. It's confusing and frustrating to even use. I'm sitting here racking my brain trying to figure out something I might like about this thing. The only thing I could come up with was that the UI, the user interface, is kind of slick. It looks really nice.
That's true. The layout looks pretty cool, especially when you overlay the grid lines over the image. It gives it that whole like Tron feel.
Right, which I loved. And so it makes it even more frustrating that something that could be so cool just ends up being so lame.
Yeah, honestly, it's really disappointing because I wanted to like it. I think part of the problem is that all these layers are made by these third-party sources, so Layar itself doesn't really monitor or standardize it.
Right, which I'm sure is a financial decision. I can't imagine for them to put all those layers together themselves. It would cost them billions of dollars. Did you just do the Dr. Evil Pinky thing?
No. So, do we have a final verdict?
Yeah, I think so. For me, this was a frustrating and confusing app that, despite a nice user interface, never lives up to the potential it puts in front of you. It's kind of like it's a little bit ahead of its time, and it needs to wait for the technology to catch up to the potential. It reminds me a lot of kind of that kid who goes through school and never gets along with people, and he's a little out there and weird, but someday is going to be like a theoretical mathematician or a nuclear physicist or something. The difference is with an app as opposed to a kid going through school, people don't care about the potential. They just care about right now. And right now, this app is awful.
How many fingered salute do you give it, Aaron?
I can't in good conscience give it any more than a one-fingered salute, and I'll go ahead and use the family-friendly version. What about you, Steve? What are your final thoughts on Layar?
I think it's a great idea and has a lot of potential, but Layar advertised itself as this amazing interactive experience that lets you see the world in a completely different and mind-blowing sort of way. But I feel like what I really wound up getting, unfortunately, was just the gimmick. And that's why I have to give the Layar. I know, Aaron, you gave it one finger, but I can't show the finger I would give, so I'm going to give it a half-finger salute.
Fair enough. The augmented reality app Layar gets a total of 1.5 fingers in our salutes, and now you know the absolute truth about Layar.
Good night, everyone.
How do people find where to eat when your phone apps don't work? Somebody help me? We're trying to find somewhere to eat and we don't know what to do. My phone app's not working. Somebody? Anybody? Can you help? I'm just trying to find somewhere to go. I just don't know. I mean, I was trying to use my phone, but it just didn't work. Anybody? Help? Anyone? I don't know where to go.